Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Darnock with TGN, bringing you a StarCraft 2 1 vs 1 cast. Today we have a ZVP. It is going to be a best of 3 from BlizzCon 2011. It is from the losers bracket. I'm actually not quite sure where around in the losers bracket it actually took place. I think it was relatively early on, so because I'm pretty sure Dimaga got knocked out in his first or second round, and Naniwa got knocked out in his second round of the winners bracket. And I think this is their first match in the losers bracket. So for what it's worth, that's what I think is going on. And I'm pretty excited for this one. We have two very, very strong European players who here today who are very, very good indeed. So let's go ahead and introduce them. The map is going to be Shakur's Plateau. In the upper right, we do have Naniwa. He is the green Zerg from Sweden. Sweden? Is he Swedish? Finland, maybe. Well, one of those Linds. One of those. I think he's Swedish, so we're going to go with that. He's the green Protoss. His opponent in what we call close positions on this map. I am using the quotation marks there because actually, like, the top right and the bottom right would technically be closer, but those are impossible to have. The game will not allow it, so these are the closest positions possible. In the upper left, we do have Dimaga. He is the red Zerg player. And he was actually one of the first players I ever watched when I started watching StarCraft 2 casts. I remember I was watching Husky StarCraft back in the day, and I think I was watching Dimaga vs. Huck or something like that, and that was my very first SC2 cast I did view, and it did get the ball rolling for me to eventually get into this scene. So Dimaga does hold a special place in my heart. However, if you're going to ask me to predict who's going to win this game, I think it'll be Naniwa. Naniwa is a little bit of a stronger player. They have actually run into each other, these two players, quite a bit over the course of the last year of StarCraft 2. They have played a total of 3 series against each other. Naniwa has won 2 of them. Dimaga has won 1, so he's obviously not completely outclassed or anything like that. I think as far as games go, Dimaga has won like 4 and Naniwa has won 6 or something like that. So certainly these guys are relatively close. However, Dimaga lately has been, I don't even want to call it a slump because that seems a little bit harsh, but he's not playing quite as fantastically as he used to. He's only really good. He's not really, really great and amazing, if that makes any sense. And this is really, really annoying by Naniwa to block this this fast expand from Dimaga. He's going for a forge first into Nexus, by the way, just going to point that out. So Dimaga is on a slight slump, but again, I really hesitate to call it even that. Naniwa, on the other hand, has always been scary since the beginning of the year, but he's getting scarier and scarier, stronger and stronger. He recently joined Complexity, and through that partnership that Complexity has with the Korean team MVP, Naniwa has been spending quite a bit of time in Korea, and it's really starting to show. He is a very, 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 very strong player. I have to put on so many varies to really illustrate just how powerful Naniwa is. So he is certainly a force to be reckoned with. However, once again, Dimaga is no slouch himself. Even though he is having some trouble these days, he is still a very, very strong player. Naniwa does have a 60% win rate against Zerg. Dimaga has like a 57% win rate against Protoss or something along those lines. So definitely very, very, very close win rates right there. I'm not sure why I'm using the word very so much. I actually did just wake up from a nap. So I think my brain, or at least the vocabulary part of it, might not be completely operating at full capacity quite yet. So I can't actually use different words. I just have to use very simple one-syllable words and attach a bunch of varies onto the front of them. So I guess that's what I'm going through right now. Now, Dimaga going to be going for a fast third expand. Anybody who knows anything about ZVP will know that's just because Naniwa did go for a fast natural expansion. Can't let that Protoss get on equal bases with you, so you got to take that very quick third expansion on your own to make sure you are in the lead there. Now, I'm going to be very interested to see how Naniwa does follow this up. I would not be surprised if he went for some sort of Stargate play. Naniwa is one of the scariest Protoss players when it does come to Stargate plays. He has great Void Ray micro. Actually doesn't go for the Phoenixes all that much. Really likes to just stick with those very powerful Void Rays and just trust his micro to keep them charged up, keep them alive, and keep them popping Zerg units and buildings. So that can be something that Dimaga is going to have to watch out for. We're going to have to wait and see, though, from Naniwa. He hasn't quite revealed his tech choices yet. as he is still on just these 2 assimilators. So for the time being, he's just doing what you always do when you go for a Forge Fast Expand. He's just building those probes, keeping up with those pylons, and throwing in a unit here or there. Chrono biscuiting? Yes, chrono biscuiting. It's like Total Biscuit, but faster. Chrono boosting that cybernetics core to get the warp gate research out, and so on and so forth. In the meantime, Dimaga going to be adding on a defensive Roach Warren. He's not going to be using this for aggression or anything quite yet. He's just going to sit back, make sure he has a few roaches to defend any pushes coming out here from Naniwa, and really just continue trying to drone up these 3 bases to perfection. And then he will start putting on some aggression to be sure. Now, Naniwa is about to finish his +1 ground weapons upgrade right here. On top of that, he does have 3 gateways warping into the main base. So he is going to get up some gateway production right there. But 4 gateways, that's not all he's going to be building. He's going to be doing something along with this. If he was going just for pure gateway pressure, he would be going for more like 5, 6, maybe even 7 gateways, depending on how all in he was wanting to get. Now, he does have a probe going to throw down a proxy pylon over here, so he is going to put on some pressure with these 4 gateways. There are some Zerglings in the area. They saw the probe, but Dimaga apparently did not quite see that, so this proxy pylon could very well go up. Now, these Zerglings are going to spot the sentries and the Zealot here, so that might give Dimaga the cue that there is some aggression coming in. He does have 11 roaches on the way. The Zerglings going to back off, and are they going to see that pylon? No, they do see units warping in, though. There's a pylon over here on the high ground as well that Dimaga has spotted, so Dimaga is going to know that there is a push coming out over here. Now, these roaches are pretty far away. They do have to get across that area without creep and without their speed upgrades. So this could be pretty dangerous for Dimaga, especially as we do see the force fields going down onto that ramp from Naniwa, and Naniwa looking very, very scary. He's actually going to deal quite a bit of damage with this small group of gateway units, 4 sentries, 3 zealots, not all that much, but he's going to be able to do some damage here. Actually, he's just going to have to fall back up to the top. He actually didn't really have all that much energy on these sentries, which is actually going to come back to bite him here. Could have waited a little bit longer to get those sentries boosting up with their energies. He's going to be able to hold out here for a little bit longer. This is going to be his Alamo, and with 4 sentries, he can actually infinitely keep this area force fielded. 4 sentries is what you need, and he's actually even warping in more units. This pylon can reach up to the high ground, and Dimaga still has not seen it. He could actually just go kill that easy peasy, but he doesn't quite realize that yet. And oh, he is going to lose an Overlord right there. And behind all of this, I do want to point out in the main base of Naniwa, these are not Stargates, those are gateways. At the natural of Naniwa, he does have 2 Stargates coming out right now, so he is going to follow this up with some Void Ray aggression. We do see those Void Rays getting warped into the production tab right now, and Dimaga could be in some trouble here. Now, he does have an Evolution Chamber out. He is actually bringing in 2 Spore Crawlers down here, which is actually interesting. He just has the 2 Spore Crawlers being built at the 3rd base. And okay, he already does have some built at the natural and at the main. Okay, I thought he was just ignoring those. But we do see more Zealots are getting warped in at this proxy pylon. They're going to go ahead for the relatively undefended 3rd base, or 2nd base, excuse me. Actually, that is completely undefended. Just a single queen right there. This could get messy for Dimaga. There are sentries here on the high ground, pew-pewing away. Is there a drone in there? Or no, that's the Spore Crawler. Okay, I actually couldn't tell because that force field was so very confusing. He's going to get sent back for the time being, but these Zealots absolutely going to tear through these 2 queens. Dimaga going to micro them to the best of his abilities. One of those queens is getting very, very low. The other is close behind, and he's going to run out onto the creep, and he is bringing the roaches back over here. He is going to be able to save both of those queens, which is a pretty big deal. Queens are, of course, very, very important. That is going to allow Naniwa to push out here once again, and he is in another great position where he can start force fielding this ramp again. It is double wide, so it is going to burn through that energy relatively quickly, but he did warp in some more of those sentries. The ones that were already around haven't really died yet. They have been building up some energy as well, but Hydra's going to pop out, going to be able to kill a lot of those sentries. They are very, very weak to Zealots, so now that the Zealots are down here, they are going to die pretty quickly, but they did do a lot of damage, killed 2 or 3 sentries, and then another one is going to go down as well, and looks as if Naniwa, at the very least, is going to get pushed back up to the high ground over here, but not before he is able to take down this 3rd base, which is a huge deal for Dimaga. Now he's on equal bases. He is on 2 base versus 2 base. 56 probes versus 42 drones, and Dimaga in a lot of trouble right now, especially as there is a total of 4 Void Rays heading towards his main base. They actually might spot out this 3rd that Dimaga is trying to build. It actually does not look like it. They are going to skim past, but if they do ever spy it, it is going to be very, very easy for them to take those down. Now, again, there are Spore Crawlers out on the field. There is a Hydralisk Den that is going to open up that tech path, of course, to be able to deal with these Void Rays. The but there aren't really any Hydras in the area now. There are a few Hydras, but it's going to take them a while to make it into the main, and that could be too late, as 4 Void Rays are going to be shooting away at this layer. Oh my goodness, I think this layer might go down. Actually, uh-oh, here comes Dimaga. He does have 3 Queens over here. Naniwa just going to completely ignore them. He has 2 more Void Rays coming in as well. 1 Void Ray is going to fall, but this layer is certainly going to go down as well. And Naniwa just going to back off with that pick off. He is happy with the damage he did, and he is all too happy to just head home. Wow, so much tech disturbance here for Naniwa. Now, he does actually miscontrol a couple of these Phoenixes that are just going to fly in and die immediately, but man, Naniwa is looking terrifying this game. The 3rd base hatchery is being rebuilt. Uh-oh, but the Void Rays are going to see this hatchery. There are a lot of Hydras out on the field. The creep doesn't quite extend all the way to this hatchery. So will Dimaga be able to get here in time? It looks as if he's going to be able to make it with those Hydras. He does have quite a few of them. So those Void Rays are going to start heading home once again. They are going to take a few of those Roaches with them, though. Not going to allow Dimaga to stave Naniwa off without taking some losses. And Dimaga just opening up some more paths for his ground units to move. He does have the stronger ground army, so that is a smart choice for him. But this is going to be a scary push from Naniwa. His ground forces have 1-1. His air is at 0-0. No air upgrades on the way or anything like that. But still, Naniwa with a very powerful timing here. I'm not sure if Dimaga is going to be able to hold this off. His Roaches and Hydras are out of position. Now, Naniwa wasn't quite committed as well, so that is going to work out a little bit for Dimaga, and now both forces are engaging. Good force fields going down here from Naniwa. Those Zealots in the front absolutely tearing through the Hydras that are trapped up against those force fields. There still are 4 of those Void Rays up, which are really big damage dealers. The Hydras trying to focus them down, though. Only a single Void Ray left. A few Hydras left, but they are not going to be able to put out the DPS necessary to kill the single Void Ray, as the Stalkers are dealing damage to them as well. The Queen is going to go down. 7 Roaches, 3 Hydras are being spawned out for Dimaga right now. But look at this. There was a huge warping that just occurred from Naniwa, and if he pushes forward right now, he actually might be able to kill the hatchery. However, he's going to play it safe. He's going to stay by that watchtower. Just going to have that forward Void Ray charge up and start killing it. There is a Spore Crawler on the way. Actually, a few of them, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think this base is going to go down, and Dimaga just 1Aing those Roaches into a terrible position, getting all of them killed. His Hydras do pop out, force that Void Ray away, almost kill it, but Naniwa is able to keep it alive. He really needs to keep that Void Ray up. That Void Ray is actually such a big deal in this army composition, but you know what? His ground army is getting so big, I'm not sure it actually is going to matter. Even if that Void Ray does get sniped out, these 1-1, almost 2-1 gateway units should be able to seal Naniwa's victory in this first game. Queen pops out, trying to focus down that Void Ray. It does go down, but so does the 4th hatchery here for Dimaga. And Dimaga, once again, so much trouble behind all of this. Naniwa has taken up a 3rd base. It is already getting nice and well saturated. This pylon's still in the area, so if Naniwa wanted to use an air unit, he could fly a Void Ray over here or something and gain sight to warp in some more units here. Now, there is another hatchery going down here for Dimaga. He's going to be taking a 4th base. This is actually like his 7th or 8th hatchery. He's lost so very many of them, but oh no. Naniwa has a blink. If he gets an observer out or another air unit, he could blink onto the high ground here. Looks like he's pretty over those Stargate units, though. Doesn't really feel the need to build too many more of those, so he's just going to go for a straight up attack down this lane. Going to try and go up to that 3rd. Dimaga not going to make it too easy for him, but just look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Naniwa's army outstripping Dimaga's by leaps and bounds. Big blink forward, nice force fields. All these Roaches are going to fall, and with that, Dimaga does know that it is a GG, so he is going to leave the game right there. Naniwa taking a very, very strong... There I go with the varies again. I don't know what I'm doing today, but he does take a strong first victory here against Dimaga, and that's going to cause a lot of momentum going into game number 2 for Naniwa.